The lure of freedom, travel, and simplicity in a snug, self-sustaining van has given birth to a worldwide social media phenomenon, which in part has been fueled by the pandemic. The hashtag van life generates millions of pictures and videos of nomads in their retrofitted vans parked on beaches, opening up to stunning views or underneath starry skies. For some, it's freedom, and others, it's necessity. Madison McNair and her husband Rainer spent about 2 years living out of their van. In 2020, after 120,000 kilometers, the couple decided to share their skills with others. They opened a van conversion shop in a small town on the southeastern shore of Georgian Bay in Ontario.
We had just started construction when the pandemic was declared, and I honestly thought it was like the end. We made the wrong investment, we're going to be in trouble.
But COVID has only accelerated business. Canadians are fleeing lockdowns and big mortgages and rent for 80 square feet mobile living spaces to roam and work wherever and whenever they want. Madison says they can barely keep up with the demand.
It's been really incredible. So we're already booking into 2022 and 2023. Now it seems laughable that I ever thought there would be a decline. Because of course, if you're stuck at home, you're suddenly looking at your backyard, realizing we live in an incredible region. Why not go road trip?
For some, it is the allure of the ultimate trip.
My name's Drew.
My name is Max. I'm Zara. Margie.
We're a family from Vancouver. We just moved into a 60 square foot living space. We're gonna see if we can survive and not kill each other.
The Nine family from BC hit the road in 2019 for a 2-year adventure. They decided they wanted their children to learn about the world firsthand. When we caught up with them, they were parked at a dive shop in Crete, Greece.
How did you end up, your entire family, becoming van lifers?
We just want to travel. We want to find a way that's most economical for us and spend more time with the family. We were trying to get away from the rat race and just live life to the fullest.
We wanted a van or a vehicle that we, the four of us, can live comfortably. So we actually ended up building one. Our van name is YOLO, just because we only live once, and that's sort of our motto.
Touring ancient ruins allowed the kids who were being homeschooled to see history come to life. Their days were packed with adventure.
Let's go back to March 2020, when the pandemic hit and the world shuts down. What was going through your mind?
We weren't sure if it was how the pandemic was going to affect Canada, the borders, Morocco, where we were at the time.
We even talk about, should we come back and finish this trip? But we just contemplated and decided, you know what, everyone in the world's living the same thing. We just need to adapt.
But adapting in some ways seemed easier for the family. The simplicity of van lifestyle, the self-containment and self-sufficiency allowed them to stay safe while traveling during COVID.
This is a very useful storage we have for quick access things that we would need.
Every square inch fits our lifestyle, and we learn how to live minimally. So the kids learn to bring only what brings joy to them.
Give me an example of how the pandemic has affected your life as van lifers.
Because of different lockdown scenarios and people are concerned about traveling, all the tourist spots are practically empty. So we have these beautiful places almost to ourselves and enjoy it without the crowds and the lineups. We've been pretty lucky about that.
Van dwelling, van lifing, vehicle residence is not a new concept. There are versions peppered throughout history. One example is this land yacht created for travel in the early 1900s. Another is the popular Volkswagen microbus, synonymous with hippie counterculture of the 1960s and 70s.
I think it was kind of one of the funny things for us getting into van life, and me on Instagram, #van life. At first you feel like this pioneer creating this new way. And then we met a lovely woman in the desert of Arizona, and she concluded, so you're the same as I was when I was in my youth. We just had a crappy VW that didn't work very well. And ultimately, this is a version of getting mobility, getting flexibility, going after whatever the gold rush is that you're going after. It's quite natural, and it feels really natural when you're in it.
Squamish, BC, an adventurer's playground of majestic mountains and rivers. For renowned rock climber Thomasina Pigeon, this is home.
I started living in a van in kind of like when I was 20, when I moved away from home. It just feels super natural. It feels like the way that I'm supposed to live. It just feels right to me. Like when I'm in a house, I feel really restricted. I don't feel that comfortable. When I'm in a vehicle, I just feel more free.
That's the affordable campground.
For more than 25 years, Thomasina has been a vehicle resident and celebrating the freedom it allows her.
This is also another place that we stay at sometimes.
She owns a business in town and lives in this 1998 Toyota Sienna with her 14-year-old daughter.
For me, it's a choice. People that rent houses choose to pay rent, so they choose to have a mortgage because that has the lifestyle that they want and the conveniences they want. I don't even want those conveniences. For me, that's like an economic freedom too. I think people just don't need that much stuff.
Cheaters clothes and our books.
While the 46-year-old prefers this form of living, others choose it out of necessity. The last year of job losses, the inability to pay rent, and the red-hot housing market has forced more people into vehicle living. Even if Thomasina wanted to, she couldn't afford the skyrocketing rent in Squamish.
There's people that are doing it because they just have no choice. And then there's people like me. I mean, actually, I don't really make that much money. I own my own business, but the amount of money that I make is below poverty level. I think in March, I paid myself $6 an hour. It's like I couldn't even pay rent if I wanted to, but I don't want to.
You know, some food, yeah, just some teas.
Some jurisdictions have rules prohibiting it, so it's unclear just how many people live in their vehicles across Canada. And as the affordable housing crisis worsens, tensions between cities and van dwellers seem to be growing.
You see them throughout parts of Metro Vancouver, people living not in homeless camps, but in RVs. After letting the issue slide for much of the pandemic, the city of Vancouver is now cracking down.
Some municipalities are cracking down on RVs, trailers, and vans illegally parked on streets. Squamish is no exception, passing bylaw changes that would prevent people sleeping in their vehicle overnight in certain public spaces. Thomasina co-directs the advocacy group, Fighting the Bylaw.
It penalizes people for doing something which is a basic human right, which is to sleep. It's just a really exclusive bylaw that, to me, is driven by stigma.
Karen Elliott is the mayor of Squamish. She says the amendments are to manage the tourist population and not aimed at long-term vehicle residents.
It is not targeting people that call Squamish home full-time. It really is about managing the influx of thousands of vehicles each summer and thousands of people that are looking for a place to stay.
The mayor hopes the bylaws encourage visitors to sleep at campsites. This is also an option for vehicle residents.
We understand that vehicle sleeping might have to be a reality for some folks, but for this summer, we needed a solution for the visitor management, and that for us is the priority.
As for Thomasina, she plans to live in her van indefinitely and won't change because of the bylaw.
Why should I have to hide? Why do people always have to hide and pretend that they don't exist because people don't agree with a certain type of lifestyle? Like, to me, that's just wrong. Like, I wish that people would just be more open-minded and not be so judgmental to a different way of living that is actually pretty minimal and simple, and to me, it's a beautiful lifestyle.
Back at Madison and Rayner's shop, there's no slowing down, and they know the van life trend will continue, out of choice or necessity.
Rent's expensive. Jobs are unstable. How do I sign a 12-month lease if my job won't give me a 12-month stability? How do I pick a place to live? These vehicles are far more about freedom, self-control, autonomy. There's this balancing act that I hope we find. There's going to be ways we can adjust and see the benefits for this. The employment opportunities are important, and giving Canadians the opportunity to find where they belong is important.